Elohai. She was one of Israel's greatest stars. One of the nation's purest souls. And one of the world's greatest voices. So how is it that someone so moral, so righteous, could become connected to one of the world's most infamous diseases? This is the story of Ofra Haza. This is the story of AIDS. This is a story of tragedy. Ofra Haza was born on November 19th, 1957, in Israel, the youngest of 8 other siblings. Her parents were immigrants from Yemen. The Haza household was a very musical one, and young Ofra knew that she wanted to become a famous singer. At the age of 12, she joined a local musical theater group, and its manager, Betzalel Aloni, saw much potential in Ofra. As the group moved on, Betzalel decided to become Ofra's personal manager and tried to start a solo career for her. After a bit of a slow start, Ofra started to become a pop star in Israel, and in the early 80s, she was soon issuing hit after hit. Across the world in California, a mysterious illness was discovered in 5 men. What its cause was, or how it even came to exist, was unknown. It didn't even have a name yet, but its effects were clear. It weakened the individual's immune system considerably, making them more vulnerable to infection and potentially deadly sickness. By 1982, there were hundreds of documented cases of this strange disease across the United States, mostly in homosexual men. Scientists deduced the illness was transferred sexually, and it was dubbed AIDS, or Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. AIDS was quickly becoming something of an epidemic, as blood transfusion patients, including children, were becoming infected with the disease, and sometimes even dying from it. There was a sense of panic growing. Everyone seemed to be at risk of getting AIDS somehow, and cases were beginning to occur overseas, including at least one in Israel. In 1984, Ofra wanted to record an album of Yemenite folk songs in honor of her heritage. When the album was released, the Israeli media was baffled. This wasn't pop music at all. The album was largely ignored, but Ofra was happy she'd acknowledged her ancestors' musical past. Nevertheless, she went on to recording more pop records. As Ofra's Yemenite Songs album faded in Israel as quickly as it had arrived, AIDS was growing faster than ever. The first reports of the virus from China came out, officially confirming AIDS had spread to every major continent, with over 3,500 related deaths. There was no doubt AIDS was causing a negative image for groups of people as well. Drug users, as sharing needles was revealed to be another way the virus spread. Homosexuals were seen as dangerous. The stigma reached its highest point as people feared even touching a person with AIDS could transfer the disease. In 1985, a young boy named Ryan White became a symbol of the struggle against AIDS. He had become infected from a blood transfusion and was banned from his school. This drew national attention, and several celebrities supported Ryan, fighting. fighting against the paranoid nature AIDS was causing in people. Meanwhile, a music producer from the UK had come across a copy of Ofra's Yemenite songs and was deeply fascinated by Ofra's voice and the exotic nature of the music. He contacted Ofra and Bezalel, and in 1988, Ofra released her first English album, Shaddai, containing a couple reworked songs from the Yemenite album and keeping Ofra's exotic flair throughout. Ofra became an international star, her single nin'alu climbing the charts, particularly in Europe. AIDS continued to spread. In 1990, Ryan White passed away. A ban was in place prohibiting HIV-positive people from visiting the United States, and there were over 300,000 reported cases of AIDS worldwide, with an expected total number of over 1 million, including unreported infections. As Ofra continued to pursue her world music sound, AIDS drew much public attention as basketball star Magic Johnson announced he was retiring due to testing positive for HIV, the predecessor to AIDS. A cure for the illness was nowhere in sight, and more people were becoming infected. Emphasis on safer sex was stressed, but still, AIDS spread. As the late 90s approached, Ofra herself found her 40s approaching. Always a very moral person, never in any kind of controversy, Ofra had never been in a romantic relationship. Now her family was pressuring her to finally find a man and have a family. Ofra soon met businessman Doron Ashkenazi. Bezalel disliked him immediately, insisting Ofra find someone else. Nevertheless, Ofra loved Doron and married him in 1997 to much celebration. Slowly, Ofra started to sever her ties with Bezalel. Drug combinations to combat AIDS were starting to be created. These allowed infected people to return to their normal lives in better health, though some reacted to the drugs negatively. Ofra was happily married and was soon planning to create a new album. She recorded some demos, and those she shared them with thought they were beautiful. Meanwhile, she was cast in the animated movie The Prince of Egypt, a telling of the story of Exodus, as Moses' mother. Film scores seemed to be Ofra's next step in her career, and she signed on to do vocals for Gladiator when she suddenly fell seriously ill. In mid-February of 2000, her sisters, learning of her condition, rushed her to the hospital, where she was put in intensive care. It was too late. Ofra Haza died on February 23rd. Doron died about a year later of a drug overdose. Doron Ashkenazi had hidden a dark past from Ofra. He was a drug user and had become infected with AIDS long before he'd met her. Whether he knew of his illness or not is unknown, but it was certainly unknown to Ofra. She was infected with AIDS by him, and out of shame and fear, she kept her condition hidden from the world, receiving treatment in private, but not taking well to the cocktail of medications. And so, too haunted by her clean image to pursue help more openly, she was dead 3 years later. Today, AIDS is still a problem, though its stigma has lessened considerably, and new treatments and support centers are constantly being worked on and opened. In late 2009, the USA's ban on HIV-positive travelers was even lifted. Although the war with the disease still exists, we can only hope that soon we will truly gain the upper hand. The world lost one of its greatest voices because of AIDS, and the tragedy of Ofra Haza is only one of countless other heartbreaking losses caused from it. Although she is largely forgotten outside of Israel, Ofra's music lives on. Unfortunately, for now, so does AIDS.
Hey.